Hey, it's the Blanket Fort.
Episode 3.
Oh. All we're talking about is farts today. That's it. All we're talking. We've been on a big fart kick lately.
From here, it's always up.
Yep.
It's up from here.
That's true. Oh, well,
I mean, there's only
depending on the wind.
Yeah. Sometimes it fires back, but most of the time it's out and up. It's up from farts.
Okay.
I don't think anyone knows who I am yet, which is probably okay.
My name is...
But that's completely up to you.
My name's Joey.
Yeah.
We're in, as far as you know, we're in my elaborate blanket fort that I've been spending.
It's roomy in here.
The reason there hasn't been an episode is we've been remodeling the blanket fort for the last few weeks, putting in a lot of new additions.
A lot of new structures. It's quite big.
The fountain took a long time to finish, but it's looking good. My guest this time is one of our first friends we made when we moved to New Zealand. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
I'm William. I'm one of their first friends they met when they came. And I've been introduced to Sour Punch strawberry straws.
Gut reaction. How do you feel about them?
Sour, sweet.
Does it taste like strawberry?
Tastes like diabetes. It's good though.
Yeah. They are good. They'll burn your tongue because they're just full of sugar.
I'm worried that the beer I have might taste shit for the first few drinks, but that's okay.
It might.
Do you remember CompuServe?
Sure. I remember the name. I don't remember.
My dad had a CompuServe account, and I used to chat on the CompuServe server.
Ooh.
And
getting up to no good on the old...
Just chatting. You know, I was just a bored teenager working school.
I was on Yahoo chat rooms a lot.
Yep. And I bumped into... What am I talking about? I ended up talking to this person, and their internet name was Bubbles. And
could it have been the Bubbles?
Don't know. My gut feeling, in hindsight, suggests they weren't female, and they weren't my age. But I could be wrong. I never met them.
Never. Don't keep up with them.
No. As far as I know, they've moved on.
Okay.
To 4chan.
Well, oh God, I have not made the jump to 4chan.
It's not a place you...
I feel like it's
not a place you...
Not so much a jump as drowning in the terribleness that is 4chan.
Apparently it's where memes start.
I was listening to a good chunk of last podcast, and they were talking about the dark web.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting that a lot of people don't understand that all they see is the surface of the internet. And there's
there's actually some cool diagrams on the internet that sort of show you.
Like there's so much. They said it. They said like it's infinite. The internet is infinite.
It's infinite. It's infinite. It's infinite. It's infinite. It's infinite.
But then when we were at uni together, he started a radio show on our local school station in this tiny little sweatbox, terrible studio that we loved. And it was called Go Team Lob. And he really spearheaded it. I was only on it a few times, but we would basically listen and talk about metal and video games. And it was, they were living on campus just partying all the time. And our slot was like 8 to 10 or something at night, so it was a really fun slot.
Yeah.
And we never knew if anybody was listening.
It probably wasn't your main drive, I imagine.
But they did do really well. He put a lot of work into it. I didn't as much.
In a way, that can be liberating if you're just having fun.
It was really, it was the only outlet we really had to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And my favorite memory is that one time, I think 4 or 5 of us were in there in this tiny room, and we decided to on air do our own version of Walk, and we just air guitared and used our mouths to play through Walk. And we had mosh pits in there. It was like maybe 20 square feet, and we did a mosh pit in there almost every night. But why don't you tell us what you do, William?
I work at a radio station, the public broadcaster. I'll let you Google that. And I think I did a similar course to Lob, but it was a 6-month course, and the whole point of it was to just get a job. It wasn't a here's your degree,
career trajectory,
go
or
teach something.
yeah.
It was like this whole point is to sort of throw you into the industry. So away I went, and we did ads and made ads and had a little radio show each, and it was a lot of fun. And I used to do slots as well, and I had a slot in the evening, but I would pre-record it. Mm-hmm. So it was a classic hit station in particular, and I used King Crimson as a music bed because I thought, well, it's a classic hit.
Who are they?
Yeah, and then then I got told, that music you played as a bed the other night, not really appropriate. And I was like, yeah, but it's King Crimson and it's a classic hit station, so I kind of thought it would be okay.
Thought you guys were cool.
And it wasn't. So, and then I kind of went, oh, well, that's not cool. So I don't like the idea of conforming to if I say something, I've said it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Why edit it?
Why edit it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I just engineer people who talk for a living.
Okay.
And that's
You've been doing it for a while now.
shit. Yeah. 11 years at my
Pretty
current
good
job.
run.
Which is still small fry and at the place I work.
Yeah. A lot of
But I've got friends in commercial radio, and they
lifetimers.
just go, "Oh, you're a veteran," and I'm like, "No, I don't know if I am.
Yeah.
Don't know if I am."
Like, what would you say? Like 30 years is where you would get into maybe that territory. Or something?
Well, at this recent event I attended, they were giving out awards for long service and good work and all that stuff. And one name popped up, and he's a colleague, and he had been there. He's still for 50 years.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
And that's so.
You would see so much evolution in that time. It'd be really
Yeah, he
cool.
has. He's sort of been up and down.
Yeah.
He sort of found himself doing stuff.
Like all the software. Well, I don't know. Did it? So,
Well, I mean, a long time ago, it was, everything was recorded to tape.
Yeah.
And, there are people I work with who still know how to cut tape and all that. But, of course, we don't do that anymore. We record on computers. So, but we
true.
still have tape machines,
we have the most.
But they just sort of sit there.
We have state of the art stuff in the Blanket Fort studio.
Yeah.
Got a new flux capacitor the other day.
Good.
Installed that. That's working really well.
They tend to wear out.
Yeah, you got to watch out. Up until a couple days ago, we were just using a tin can on a string. And
Yeah, it's amazing that worked,
yeah.
to be honest.
That's the backup system. Okay, so to get into the guts of the show, I'd like to let's pick William's brain. We've been focusing a little bit on early nerdy-ish obsessions, if you can call them that. Like, what was the first hobby you really, when you were young, could latch onto or identify with off the top of your head? For me, it was a lot of maybe comic books or cartoons. That was cartoons, definitely, which I think sounds fairly generic, but
Yeah.
it's something I've held on to a lot.
Mine's a gaming one, I guess. When the PlayStation 1 happened, I was very keen to get FIFA 2000. And I got it. I was meant to share it with my brother, but I did play it more.
Does he hold that against you?
Oh, let's not open that. And another time. And so I had the game, and I was just playing it constantly, and I got very obsessed with this stupid soccer game. It was really, but it was
Arguably not very stupid, seeing
Oh,
as
yeah.
it's still one of the best-selling video game series of all time, I would imagine.
Yeah, it is. Because it's, I mean, yeah, I hear Pairs is pretty good, but I haven't really tried it, and
Never
I don't
really-
have the licenses. So
yeah.
So anyway, I played this game for fucking ever, and I got to a point where I was playing on the hardest level, being New Zealand and winning the World Cup, and I think I liked it because New Zealand was in the game.
Yeah.
Because quite often New Zealand aren't in the soccer games.
It's cool.
I reckon that was probably a big part of the drive to play it all the time.
Yeah, I always thought it was
At the
cool
time.
when you played a game that somehow you could connect to your reality in a
Yeah.
real, in a legitimate way. You know,
Yeah.
Like if you were playing a game and you see like a building or a part of a town that like, oh yeah, that is correct. Like that's Chicago or something. I always thought that was pretty cool. All right, so PlayStation 1.
It's just that game.
Just that game?
That game. I mean, my brother played Abe's Odyssey, and he really enjoyed those games.
Wow. I loved Oddworld.
He was a little obsessed with those. It's like, I would throw my controller across the room if I lost a match.
I do that with certain games.
And my mum would just go, what the hell is your problem? She had a very good point.
Early nerd rage.
But I just had that, I have to win this weird game in this 2D format.
For me, the one that made me that frustrated was Need for Speed Underground 2.
Just tunnels. Need for Speed.
No, Underground. It's street racing.
Sorry.
You get into random street races by going out on the road and flashing light. You can decide to race, and they just start while you're driving. And I would get into races that lasted, 10 minutes or like really long. Like you can either trick them and finish it and win like real quick, or you get into these crazy long races throughout the whole city. And that was one of the games where I would if I lost, I would fucking break my controller.
10 minutes. Yeah. What was the longest you? Was it 10 minutes?
I have no idea. I feel like that's even stretching it because that sounds too long. But I mean, probably something like you could probably get that somewhere around that length. I would say 10 minutes would be very long in that game. Because it's a very.
I'm not familiar with what it looked like. Was there anything good to look at?
It's all at night. Yeah, it's very cool. It was PS2. So,
okay.
Very fun, and it was just super white. It was like they were trying to market it as it was like some hardcore kind of street racing, urban culture, but then all this voice acting and stuff was just terribly generic white people. It was just not. But it was a really fun game. And it had pretty good soundtrack, but you got to build up car. Anyway. That's right. People can Google it.
You reminded me of the soundtrack to the FIFA.
That was a cool part about those video games on that.
I think Robbie Williams, a song by him was like the main song, and I would hear it and like and now it's just looping in my head. I did learn to when I turned the music off. I went. This game's way better. But then it sort of turns into something really intense, like Football Manager or something.
Oh yeah, I guess it does become.
Which is actually quite addictive, but I've never played it. But I've seen other people.
I know it's a very popular one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think some actual managers use it. Well, not I don't think the pro ones.
As basically like. Oh.
But it would strike me as something a Football Manager might want to do. In his downtime? Yeah. Just for a laugh?
It would keep
because it's not real.
Yeah. But nowadays, the stat games and everything are very realistic. I mean, video games are so much more taken very seriously. Obviously, you can make it a career now. If you've been living under a rock, you don't know that. Video game.
Yeah, if you're any good.
The industry makes more than the movie industry every year now. And, I mean, esports are a real thing.
Esports are mental.
It's crazy. It's a lot of games I have no interest.
I'd like to go to one and just sort of. The hysteria is pretty unreal. I've seen pictures. I've seen a few.
It'd be pretty fun to be in that crowd. I think. Yeah, I work with some people who are very into that culture, and it's a lot of games that I'm not a fan of playing though.
Well, they do pick things like World of Warcraft and team-based sort of.
I could do like
ones.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see. Yeah. I'd like to see more broad competitive gaming, but I also don't look for it that much. I know like Penny Arcade, their channel on Twitch does lots of different games just for fun to watch. Twitch is a whole different thing. But like the actual paid ones are a lot of that battle royale style of gaming that I find very toxic, and a lot of bad press for video games comes out of that whole thing, I think.
I think it does too.
And it's just boring. I think those games are boring because people are too good at them for me to even step into that game anymore.
Yeah, for me remember like arcade games at shopping malls and things like that. That I put those in the same category as those sorts of games because the sorts of people who are really good at arcade games, especially fighting games, a lot of them ended up doing these sort of big battle royale things.
It's the being moves. Able to memorize the move, like Lob, who was on last time, is really good at fighting games. He's a big fan of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and all of those. And our whole lives, he's able to remember the combinations for those Street Fighter specials and Mortal Kombat specials, because a lot of them never changed throughout the versions of the games. The buttons were the same combinations a lot of the time. And I loved playing with him, but he crushed me almost every single time that we played. I won't lie. Lob is very much better than those video games, but I did have moments where I could, button mash my way into beating him.
Yeah, you could. but then you run the risk of being called a masher, button masher, and they don't. It's like they look down on you a little.
Yeah, we have.
They got to. I mean, we're not bothering to learn because we're like, nah, I've got no time.
It's true. I'm. That's not where my forte is as far as gaming goes. We used to get really mad. We played with a friend of ours, and we took video games a lot more serious than her. Yeah. And she would button mash her way through beating all of us at Mortal Kombat every single time, and we were always saying it wasn't fair. And she was just like, it doesn't matter, I still win.
I'm not giving a shit.
Yeah. We also played video games with a friend of ours who was blind.
What?
And he held the controller differently than us. He would hold it sideways, and he would face his ear towards the TV, and he knew what the moves sounded like and stuff.
What?
So he would beat us every single time at Mortal Kombat. He was amazing at Mortal Kombat. He still plays.
Could he tell where his character was on the television screen?
Yeah.
He knew, like either far left or center left or
he understood the controls, obviously, because he still understood direction. But but he was very good at sound association. I mean, because he had been.
Because I didn't think you could. That's really amazing. But
it blew my mind every time, and I've since then seen some documentary film, some stuff about some guys. There was this guy who found out he was going to go blind when he was a kid. And he thought his life was over because he really loved video games. That was the first thing he was upset about, was not being able to play them. And now he plays competitively all the time. He plays Smash Brothers and stuff like that. And he's really good at it. Yeah, it's really cool that I can't.
I didn't think at all that the character on the screen know how they're stepping around, and they are making a slight shuffle of their feet.
The sounds, yeah.
But I didn't. To me, there was just sort of one.
Yeah, I mean, he was really good at being able to pick up what the other character was doing.
Okay, there's probably but that was actually I just found. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, Casey, probably one of the best video gamers I knew.
Awesome.
What else about PlayStation 1?
Crash Bandicoot was huge. I didn't play it, but
I mean, it's
was
big
huge.
again too. They just remastered it. That's a real top seller right now. The whole trilogy.
It's not like there's a story. It's not like it's not like Skyrim or The Witcher or anything like that. Is there a story now?
There's there were cutscenes.
Go forwards, pick up things.
True, there wasn't. It was a very linear. Linear gameplay.
It was fun linear.
Although I think with those game series, as those sequels came out, they invested more time in cinematics.
Do you think there'll be a cartoon unless there's unless there is already, like Sonic the Hedgehog, the cartoon?
I can't think. Maybe there is one. I can't tell. Oh, the Sonic cartoon.
Yeah, that was
pop quiz. Do you know who voiced Sonic the Hedgehog? I'm not sure. I'll get his real name, but
Keanu Reeves.
It was the actor who played Steve Urkel in Family Matters. Happens to play Sonic the Hedgehog.
I saw him in an ad once.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was well after Urkel. But he was just in an ad.
I feel bad for not knowing his name off the top of the head. I do know his name. It's just not coming to me right now.
We could find out. We could consult the Oracle.
I was very upset when they're making a weird looking new Sonic movie that there was a lot of backlash about how Sonic looked.
Like. Yeah.
And I was more upset to find out that it was voiced by somebody else, because he's the voice of Sonic. Obviously, if you know Sonic, he never talked in the original video games, but when the cartoon came out, it was actually a really good, fun cartoon, and he had a great cartoon voice.
Yeah.
That's one of my obsessions, is cartoon voice acting, and I follow quite a few that I really.
I know you're a fan. It'll be no secret to anyone who's known Joey for more than 10 minutes, but he's a big fan of the Batman cartoons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Mark Hamill was the Joker.
He is the Joker. As far
that's
as
what
I'm
everyone calls him.
concerned.
They call him the Joker. He's
I think he is the number one best ever version of the Joker, and I hope Mark
Charlie
Hamill
White.
hears me say that someday.
Charlie White.
Jaleel White. Yes,
Jaleel.
Jaleel White
Two E's, I was confused.
is the voice of Sonic originally, and very funny, classic Steve Urkel, one of the icons of... Oh, Family Matters was one of my favorite TV shows. We had TGIF growing up. That was the big TV event every week. And for me, it was always about Family Matters. That was my favorite one. Carl Winslow, very, very funny. And
he tends to play a cop
almost
all the time.
Almost every role.
It's like, I mean, he probably gets scripts.
He's in a very funny skit with Zach Galifianakis and Tim and Eric, I believe, from one of their shows where he plays a dad in a sitcom with them. That was very, very inappropriate and hilarious. But probably one of my favorite parts of Die Hard, too. He's very good in that movie. Yeah, man.
Sitcoms.
I was watching Batman the other night.
Yeah.
A really good couple. It's one of the best written, one of the best written TV shows of all time, I think. A lot of the original animated series.
Of Batman?
Yeah, it taught me a lot about drama, and
Cool.
It's noir. It's a very cool representation of noir film and how to like introduce kids to some of those concepts. It was like real. There's some gritty stuff, and it was all because of the Tim Burton movies. That they came out with that cartoon. It's rooted in the same world. There's a lot of crossover. Danny Elfman did the music, the same theme, and
it's quite dark. There was a weird
people
patch
die.
in the middle there.
They don't ever show certain things, but they imply a lot about death in that cartoon and nefarious things that, looking back on, very. I mean, it was written. I love when cartoons are clearly written for kids and adults because they know they're going to be watching them with their kids.
Like The Simpsons.
I think you see it a lot now.
Early Simpsons, the first 8 rather.
Simpsons is a big one for you, I know.
Yeah.
And for me,
I mean, it happened.
Yeah.
And then I just watched it.
I grew up. My brother would send us videotapes that he put together specifically, and he curated our collection.
I did a speech when I was 11 on the Simpsons episode.
Which one?
That was one of the Halloween specials. And I didn't...
Treehouse of Horror.
Actually, the real reason is I didn't have anything prepared for my speech. So I went... Well, I watched the Halloween special, and I know my mate, Andrew, watched it. So I just asked him what happened. And I did my best.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of repetition to fill time. And I got to the end and sat back down, and that was that, really. Yeah.
Favorite Simpsons episode? Got one? I know I have one. I know mine. It's tough. It's a tough call.
So somewhere in 6 or 7. I need to consult the Oracle.
My favorite, I'm pretty sure, is when Bart prays for a reason to skip a test the next day so that he passes his grade. And there's a snowstorm and a snow day. And, I mean, that's got to be first or second season. That's a really early episode, I think. And probably Conan was on the team writing that one. When
he also did Monorail. That was his episode. Yeah.
Very good episode. I actually have my Bart shirt on. I have my Slurpee Madness Bart shirt on.
It looks like he could get some sleep.
I think after that one, he did crash pretty hard. I think they have a hangover in the morning on that one. Love The Simpsons. For me, though, if we're talking cartoons, number one, absolutely, without a doubt, Ren and Stimpy. Best cartoon ever made, I think. at least when John Kay and Billy West were both working on it.
When did that start? Around about the same time as The Simpsons?
Wow,
or before,
yeah,
or
it had
after?
to be 19...
Maybe a little after Simpsons.
Oof. I mean, I don't know how long it was on by the time I started watching it, but I'm
Sure.
going to guess 91 or 90. I think
It does have the early...
It had to be... Well, now I got to check.
You got to...
But
early South Park looks like crap.
I mean,
I think a lot of it was hand done.
I think what I love about cartoons is the crossover once you get into who's playing who. I think a lot of people don't care about voices on cartoons. I think a lot of people don't care about cartoons.
I mean, Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's really well voiced.
Justin Roiland is amazing, and so is everybody else on the show. There's so many good guest spots on that show. Ren and Stimpy, by the way, we're talking... Wow, I spoke too soon. I don't have the information.
Really?
Okay, 91. First episode,
now
August 11th, 91. I was right with my first guess. It ran until 96, but it really only ran for me while... I think it's all pretty good, but what happened was John Kay, the creator, got booted from the show, or he quit the show basically when they disagreed with him about how it was being made, and so that for me is when the show ended, because he was the creator and he was the best, and Billy West was always very good at doing the voices. But I think the crossover that's fun for me is then getting into things like Matt Groening's work that Billy West... Billy West is...
And Futurama?
Futurama,
Yeah.
he plays Fry. And
I know in
Professor.
Enchanted's the latest thing they got on Netflix.
Enchanted is very good. I really enjoyed Enchanted. Eric
Futurama
Andre.
was pretty cool. I didn't really watch a lot of it, but every now and then I'd throw a few
That's
on.
probably number 2 or 3 for me as far as the best cartoons go. Futurama is the most invested emotionally I ever got in a character arc. Specifically Fry and Leela's romance for me.
Oh, wow.
There's a few very dramatic, serious moments in that show that they cut in all the comedy, and you really feel bad, I think, about Fry because he's so in love with Leela.
Yeah.
And he's just so helplessly dumb.
He's just a humble pizza guy. He got thrown into the future.
He's just a pizza guy.
He got thrown into the future on a pizza delivery.
Unwillingly pranked, and then...
And bang, pizza.
And the genius of that show, I mean, it's
Future
just...
pizza.
It's so well done.
And he's a
Everything
delivery
about
guy again, but it's not pizza.
And he's excited about it. It's the funniest joke in the whole show, I think, is that first episode.
Is just there. I reckon Zoidberg's just there for comic relief, because he just sort of... every depressing thing he says is funny.
Oh, man.
But then you feel bad 10 minutes later, but then he'll say something else, and you're like, oh, it's fine. That's just...
I love the episode where they all get a refund, and Fry uses his refund to buy 100 cups of coffee. And throughout the show, you see how many numbers he's had.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert.
What happens?
When he hits number 100 during an art gallery...
He pisses himself.
...being set ablaze, no, time slows down to almost a stop, and he's able to save the day by running everybody outside because he's hyper-caffeinated and he's seeing everything happen in slow motion. Probably one of the smartest, funniest shows ever made. And it's a shame that more people aren't familiar with Futurama. You should go watch it right now if you haven't seen it.
Right now, turn this off.
Watch all of it. I, for one, know that my cousin Josh, whenever he wants to watch Futurama, he has to watch the entire series, he says.
How many seasons of Futurama?
Okay. It was canceled multiple times.
Total seasons.
Wow.
6 or 7?
I want to say 7.
Yeah. Guess how many of The Simpsons are on as of this month, this year.
They're hitting...
They're in 31.
31 seasons. One of my favorite Simpsons jokes is about the Cosby Show, with Bleeding Gums Murphy being one of the uncles.
Yeah.
And he's
That's right.
rambling about jazz music. I think that's my favorite.
Jazz. Yeah.
You gonna do it? I'll do the whole line.
No, I can't. I can't put that on for too long.
He says, "This is I can't do a good." He says, "This is your uncle Bleeding Gums Murphy. He's a jazz musician." Oh, they all are. What the kids don't know. I don't know.
The kids that don't know with the hipping and the hopping and
And they don't know what the jazz is all about.
Yeah.
All right, that was my favorite episode. Scene.
Yeah, shit. That was.
Well, Bleeding Gums was an amazing character, and that episode is probably one of the more dramatic ones. Lisa has a really hard time in that episode.
Lisa episode.
Spoiler alert, Bleeding Gums passes away, and
It goes to the.
voiced by none other than... Come on.
I don't know. Oh, shit. I don't know. I really don't.
James Earl Jones.
No.
Oh, really? Oh, I mean...
Remember the scene at the end when...
This is CNN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it supposed to be James Earl Jones?
That is, yeah.
Because they show Lion King.
I
They
thought you said who was the voice of Bleeding Gums movie.
I thought that was the joke in the end. Because they show...
It
They
could've
show
been.
Darth Vader in the clouds. They show Simba's dad in the clouds. And
That would make a lot of
they
sense.
show Bleeding Gums in the clouds. I thought that was the joke.
Yeah, you're probably onto something. And probably 100%.
That's why we have the internet in our hands now. We can fact check everybody and prove them right or wrong and make sure that we look better than them.
Ron Taylor. His name is Ron Taylor.
Ron Taylor. So then why did they put that joke in there is what I want to know.
Because he kind of looks like him.
Maybe.
That's sort of it. He went, I'm just looking at him now. I was like, oh yeah. They just thought he kind of looks like him.
There's a lot of funny connections with The Simpsons because it's such a pop culture thing. Like, for instance,
yeah.
did you know Michael Jackson, there's a great episode about Michael Jackson. on
Lisa's
that.
birthday.
Yeah. Probably one of the funnest parts of that show is that birthday song he sings to Lisa. And he also wrote the Bartman song for them. And that was like a super popular song. And I had it on tape. We had a Bartman tape.
Yep.
And
Bartman.
I had like a Bartman doll, or my brother had a Bartman doll or a sticker or something. I remember we were really into it.
Nice.
And then, of course, he became El Barto, for those of you that want some Simpsons trivia. But anyway, so Michael Jackson did this stuff for Simpsons.
Yeah.
What I found out more recently, talking about all this stuff, video games tying into it, Michael Jackson was a big fan of the Sonic series, which we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And he was contracted to write music for Sonic 3. And he wrote all kinds of music for it. And by the time it was done, it had all been compressed so much that he was not wanting to call it his music because he didn't like how it sounded. But if you go listen to that, there's some stuff on YouTube where they compare the album he was putting out at the time with the music, and a lot of the melodies and things are very similar. And then also Sonic is doing a lot of Michael Jackson noises himself, like the oohs and the kicks and stuff like that. It was just a really weird connection that he was involved with that game. Also,
Extremely lucrative for him, leading to an appearance on The Cosby Show. However, he soon went broke after spending too much of his money on several Fabergé eggs a day. Murphy made his first appearance.
See, I thought that was the scene.
So now you have to find the actual scene.
No, it's just some prick on the Simpsons Wikipedia thing. Oh, what a moment destroyed.
Well, we'll leave it in there so we can have some reality on this show about things not working out the way we think they're going to work. And then right there, we're going to put the bum, 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 the more you know, some sort of inspirational message.
Oh, yeah.
86 when I did a guest shot on The Cosby Show. Hey, kids, meet Grandpa Murphy.
We have 3 grandpas already.
This one is a great jazz musician.
Oh, they all are.
You see, the kids, they listen to the rap music, which gives them the brain damage. With their hippin' and the hoppin' and the bippin' and the boppin', so they don't know what the jazz is all about. You see, jazz is like Jello pudding pop. No, actually, it's more like Kodak film. No, actually, jazz is like the new Coke. It'll be around forever.
Oh, I'm so glad you pulled it. That's probably one of the best scenes on that entire show.
Anyway, enough.
I'm glad we got that in.
Yeah, thanks.
What next? What are you nerding about video game wise?
I'm still playing
Now.
The Witcher.
You are a big fan of that series.
Yeah.
There's books, right?
Yeah. 6 of them, but they're like,
What are the books called? The Witcher?
they've all got different names, but yeah, basically.
Okay.
And they were Polish once, and now they're a little more than Polish. They've been translated.
Oh, it's a Polish series. I didn't. Okay. Whoo!
Sour Punch. Sour Punch.
That was a reaction to American candy. Or as we call it here, lollies.
Sweets.
Sweets?
I don't know. Our English is like a mix
How about we give them...
of Britain and what we watch on TV, which is America.
Up to this point, we've only had American citizens on this show. So
Wow.
you are officially a diplomat as far as blanket forts go. You are our New Zealand diplomat.
Cool.
Uh,
I'm gonna be sick on Monday.
fair enough. You have no sick pay.
Right. I thought so.
Just got a fruit fly here that's kind of interrupting the show. And now he's gone. So The Witcher.
Yeah.
RPG.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Fantasy.
Non-linear.
Yeah.
Open-ended, kind of.
They have ending states. Like,
Sure.
there's
Different endings.
yeah. So there's the main quest, of course, which has roughly 3 to 4, maybe endings, and then there's all the side quests have like a bunch of them have their own endings.
Okay.
And little cutscenes and little things for those endings. So it can.
So it has
There's
to.
a lot of game states that end. So it's you kind of really do feel like you are sort of. That is very one-sided.
Are they like moral area kind of things? Like
Yep.
choose the good or choose the bad decision, or is
Yep.
it
It's always-
broader? Okay.
There's good and bad, but the best decisions to make. There's one mission where each option is kind of bad.
Okay.
So it's quite grey. It's about this haunted tower on this island, and you just find out that something went wrong there, quite badly. Bandits attacked, etc.
It's always bandits.
And but they had a reason. I won't spoil it.
It's true. We will spoil a lot of things on this show, I think, but there's a lot of hardcore Witcher fans out there that might be listening to this. We don't want to spoil anything for them.
No. I have started playing the first Witcher game, which was well, it was no. Okay.
Little technical difficulty with the liquid here. My favorite personal choice for role-playing games would be the classic Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which I know a lot of people who know me will already be sick of me talking about because a lot of my friends had to sit through me raving about that game, and they all hated it. But then, lo and behold, when Skyrim came out, everybody was a fan of that series. So,
I didn't play Skyrim.
oh,
I played its dirty second cousin, Fallout 4. Yeah.
not 3.
Dirty second cousin. Dirty. Because it was buggy, but there was a weird charm with it. No, I didn't play 3.
I love 3.
I tried to play 3 after 4.
3 was my introduction to the series. I knew about the original Fallouts for a long time, but I never played them.
I've played a little bit of Fallout 1, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
But I think Fallout 1 and 2, the originals, were
Right, and they were by a different
It was
different company.
more consequences, but as the Fallout 4 series developed and everything, the RPG elements of consequence and things like that became a bit lame. Apparently, New Vegas is really awesome.
A lot
It's
of people,
got a lot of gray area.
Yeah, a lot of people consider that the
they do.
superior game. I played a little bit of New Vegas back in the day on 360.
I think what helps is another company sort of came in.
That was non-Bethesda, right? Yeah. I love Bethesda for the most part, but
was it?
at the moment it doesn't sound like they're delivering some things. I hear from E3 there was some disappointment with them. I only care about the next Elder Scrolls main game. I also play the online game, which I think is really good.
6. You're looking for a
Yeah, 6 is going to be real big, whatever it is, and it's going to be real fun and real beautiful.
What happens if they shouldn't, because Skyrim is the reason why we know who they are. So
That's true. Well, for me personally, it's Morrowind. That's how I know.
But I mean, yeah,
Skyrim is how they got a lot of fame, for sure.
yeah. If they, because I was looking forward to the new Fallout game. I was thinking, oh, this would be quite cool, you know.
I heard there was a lot of
And I was like,
disappointment.
oh, this would be cool. Okay, so it's set in West Virginia, I think, yeah. And I'm like, okay, West Virginia. Okay, bushes and stuff. Cool, that sounds fun.
Country roads.
Yeah, exactly. And then the multiplayer aspect came in, and I went, well, it's probably just an option, like new game, kind of like with Grand Theft Auto. Like it's if you know play a new game or play online. I was like, oh, it's probably something like that. That's cool. That's cool. Then he went and said something along the lines of 16 times the detail in his presentation, and I sort of sat there and went, 16? That's a lot. Detail than Fallout 4. And I went, okay, that's quite a lot.
That'd
So
be like,
what are you
reality? I don't know.
and then of course Fallout 70. I didn't buy it. I was scared. I was like, oh, this is because when it was revealed that it was totally multiplayer.
Solo.
I went, maybe not. But
Yeah.
but then when I talk about, you can play on your own, and I'm like, yeah, but the world's sort of empty. It's not full of NPCs and stuff.
That's how it feels with some games. I think Elder Scrolls Online has done a pretty good job of breaking the MMO mold.
Yep.
And I personally have never really played that game with anybody. I really only have soloed it. And I've never gotten very far because, I'm chronically restarting games.
Yeah.
And I love re-rolling characters. That's kind of why I play a lot of RPGs, is making different characters. And I do not finish games most of the time. As many games as I play, I really haven't completed a lot of them. Unless it's old school console games and things. Those are, Sega and everything. We used to crush those games a lot. But PC games, there's too many of them all the time, and I just start them all the time.
Bless you. Bless you again.
Good acoustics. In here.
Yeah.
That sneeze is going to sound great.
Yeah, I reckon. You got 2 to choose from.
I like the classic achoo sound.
My stages make Claire laugh. My girlfriend Claire. Because I sort of go make a fucking statement.
I think
and she just goes, "What the hell?" And just rolls.
I know some people who have some great sneezes. I don't want to embarrass anybody. I think my dad has a great sneeze. I love his sneeze. It's very bold.
Big sneezes. My dad's got a big sneeze.
I go
too.
big, yeah.
Achoo.
You got to get it out. Why keep
Yeah.
it? It's supposed to get out. You got to get it out.
People in lifts, they sort of do that sound.
Not me.
Hold it.
I'll either hold it and try just not to sneeze.
You could sneeze into your elbow.
I'll be
That's-
gross and pull my shirt over. I'd rather pull my shirt over my nose than sneeze in someone's face.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure they appreciate it.
If you ever meet me, I'm not going to sneeze in your face if I can help
He
it.
won't mean to.
Yeah. I would
But-
never knowingly sneeze into someone's face unless they were an enemy, in which case I'd be happy to sneeze in there.
Really? That puts yourself at a disadvantage.
I don't
you
have a
sneeze
lot
at
of-
someone, you're sort of off balance. They could.
Sneezes are equalizers, I think, because they really take over. You can't do anything the scariest thing for me sometimes is having to sneeze while driving. I don't have to drive much. I don't drive much anymore. I haven't driven in a long time, actually.
Okay.
Only when I'm home in the States do I really ever drive. But scares the hell out of me when I have to sneeze and I'm behind the wheel because I always feel like I'm going to lose control of the car.
Yeah, I can understand that. I've seen people sneeze in cars. I think they just keep their
Seen
head
some
up.
shit, man.
I think they just keep their head up and they go, oh yeah, fuck.
Pardon me.
But, you know. Do, 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 do.
Gotta get it out. Gotta get the poison out
You do.
as I put more in.
Oh, what was that? I heard today that there was rugby on.
Good rugby?
I don't know. Yeah, it was a semi-final. I did a good job of
What teams?
the Wellington Hurricanes and the Canterbury Crusaders. No word on the name change, but anyway. Yeah.
The Crusaders had a name change?
Well, they might be changing their name since
For some
an incident at a mosque.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was straight away, they were like, we should change our name from, well, not them, the public and a few interested
I think
parties.
that's a fair enough reason.
So that change it from Crusaders to, I don't know, rugby.
Oi.
Yeah. So anyway, I was at Will Wilson's and how do I describe Will Wilson's? Is it like a...
It's similar to a Whole Foods,
That's
but
it,
it's
yeah.
much better. I mean,
they
Whole
don't cook a
Foods is-
chicken for you though. They only do that at Whole Foods.
Whole Foods is kind of ridiculous.
They cook a chicken for you. That's what.
They'll do anything there, and they'll just make you pay a lot for it. But it's, I don't want to bash it too hard because there is some very nice food in there, and there's a lot of good people who work for those stores. But it is an expensive place to shop, and it tends to be a bit of what you might call a hipster haven.
Yeah.
If you like to put people into groups.
If you like to categorize human beings.
Yeah, we spent
as Joey's doing this training.
we spent a fair amount of time there when we
Yeah.
lived in Milwaukee. My friends and I shopped there for some things, but not for very long because we did not have a lot of money. So
It's what it feels like in my Wilson's. A little bit.
yeah,
A little
I
bit
like
of that.
more Wilsons a lot. They have a lot of good food there, and we buy some of our favorite stuff there.
Good selection of chili.
Good dry pasta selection, very good. Some of my
Good cheese selection.
Yeah, discovered our favorite pasta at that store, and we buy it all the time. We have a very big stash of pasta almost all the time, and the best orange juice in the city as well.
Yeah, I bought some today. It was awesome.
You got to go big with that stuff.
Oh, a lady at the till asked Claire and I, you watching the game? And we're like, what game?
Do it in a.
So I think
Was
we...
it like, oi mate?
No. She was from another country, a Southeast Asian country, and she was sort of making small talk, which she can only assume were typical New Zealanders. So she asked, "You watching the game?" And Claire and I are like,
Threw you for a loop there for a second.
"What game?"
Did you look at each other and say, "Are we watching the game?"
I just sort of just went, and then Claire went, "No," and then they talked about the weather in Christchurch for a while, and that was it.
Interesting.
So I failed as a New Zealander. I didn't know there was rugby on.
Shame. Shame. That's okay. I had no
I'm sure
idea.
the America has an equivalent. You didn't know they were playing? How did you not know that?
Yeah, most of my family really pays attention. This may come as a shock to some of my family listeners or friends from back home. Lots of people assume I know what's going on with the Chicago Cubs sometimes or the Blackhawks, and I really never know what's going on. I actually feel like I'm always surprised to find out when the World Series is on because I feel like it always just happened, and the same with the Stanley Cup. I feel like they're just constantly in World Series or championship.
It's funny how it's
games.
a World Series. I mean, it's a world.
True.
World.
Well, as we all know, America is the center of the world, and
Yeah.
everything important happens
No,
there.
I knew that. I used to watch Friends. At times, between 7:30 and 8, Friends used to be the center of the universe.
Well, come on. Joey, he's the
And
best, I think.
their lives made no sense. Like, how could a chef and a part-time waitress have that apartment?
Their families had money,
Did they?
but Rachel was cut off as soon as
Yeah,
she moved
but
to the city.
I don't know. I don't think the Gallas were that well off. I mean, that apartment is huge. And are they
Pretty
right
big.
next to Central Park or something? Or somewhere in that area?
Central Perk.
Oh yeah, true. I know that's the fake cafe.
So I assume they are close to Central Park. We could ask my brother Danny,
Or
who
not, I don't
happens to be, I would say, a Friends expert. I'm pretty sure he knows.
They could have been in
everything.
a real shitty place, but we couldn't see how cold it was.
This is the first place I've ever lived that when we moved in, I kind of felt like we were about to live in a sitcom situation because
Yeah.
it's the first real cool place we ever lived in.
It does have a sitcom vibe because I mean, if you just take out this wall,
That's
you
the
can just
camera.
you can put the camera in the audience there.
Absolutely. And that is what we are planning to do someday. We want to knock this wall out and install a studio here on the third floor.
I've never
of this
seen
building.
that. I've never really realized this before, but yeah.
You can see it. You can see that this is a sitcom house. We have a lot of weird stuff because when we moved in, previous owners or tenants had some strange aesthetic choices, I would say, like our three-sided. I'm going to
Shelf?
post a picture of it because I have no idea how to describe a set of clocks that we have.
Oh,
that
clocks you're looking at.
there
yeah.
are 3 clocks on a swivel arm off a bookcase in a cube of some kind. I'll show everybody. But
Looks like a speaker cabinet holder.
it's very weird. I think somebody must have used to work with international business and needed to know times in different cities. That's the only resolution I can come to for why it's in here. Maybe they sold stock. I don't know.
From this room. There's a better way to do that.
It's weird. It's very weird.
It's always
Maybe
25
they were
to-
an
you should-
OCD.
I
Maybe-
reckon you should grab those clocks and you should put batteries in them and set them to time. You should do exactly what you thought they did.
I think maybe
You might as well.
I think maybe it's a time machine.
So you should totally use
So
it.
I don't want to alter the way things are supposed to. I think maybe that's what it is. This is an old building. We've both heard some strange noises sometimes. This building was made in 1904. It used to be a department store here in Wellington. Probably some creepy history.
Yeah, bit of shoplifting.
I'm about a 50-50 on whether or not this building may or may not be, I wouldn't say haunted, so to say, but perhaps a few remaining energies or something. I've heard some crazy stuff in this building. It is just very old, and we have
There's pipes
some-
everywhere. Well, not everywhere. It's well put together.
There's
I
a
mean, on
lot
the
of,
roof and stuff. And I reckon
a lot of noise upstairs.
You could hear water. I reckon water might sound like funny in pipes.
True, but it doesn't sound like water. So what we hear, I know for a fact that we just have some upstairs neighbors who may hear us. No, they can't hear us. But you know,
They could be listening,
not your
probably.
typical upstairs neighbor noises. What I hear the most that is weird is furniture being moved across a floor, like a chair being pulled across a wood floor.
Yeah.
That Chewbacca noise that a chair makes, you know? Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. Can't.
We're gonna edit in both, and you guys can decide which is which. We'll try and trick you. And so, but it happens at like all hours of the night, like late at night, not during the day. So maybe they're just night people who. But I don't
Who
understand
move
why
furniture around.
you need to.
How long have they been moving furniture around?
I think I've been hearing those noises since we moved in.
Every night.
But the reason I find it interesting is because in stories about poltergeists and things, that's a common factor is furniture moving. Mm-hmm. And, of course, when you stay up late at night sitting on the internet listening to podcasts about ghosts, you tend to associate those things with one another, especially when you're home alone or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, of course, I love ghost stories and I love the idea of hauntings and things. So, but it's just cool to live in an old building. All this exposed brick that we have is
Yeah.
fun to be around.
It's very sitcom.
Yeah, it is. There's big beams in here. I probably won't show everybody the inside of our flat so that
No.
they don't know too much about.
Yeah.
Actually, we are still in the blanket fort. We are still in a blanket fort in the flat.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it's roomy. But we're up. Yeah, we're under the blanket.
yeah.
Aliens.
Well,
Aliens are real.
what do we got for an end note before we potentially go get another beer at somewhere?
Yeah.
You got to go home? What are you
Don't
going
have
to
to
do?
go home. I could get a beer.
You can go to Rogue.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like we just made our plans for the rest of the night,
Yeah.
guys. So we're gonna.
I hope you've made plans.
Guys. I hope you even learned some things today.
I think the Hurricanes lost. Sleep on it.
If you watch the game, like our friend back at More Wilson's, you might understand what that means for some people here in Wellington. It means we might be going into a volatile nightlife situation because there's angry rugby fans out there.
If we avoid Courtney Place,
Which I do at all costs
we should
almost
be
every
fine.
day.
Like, think of if you're listening to this in a city or something similar. Imagine the street where the nightclubs are and there are meatheads everywhere. That's the equivalent here. And
Chads, you might call them, some of you.
If you're in for a good, if you want to be a dumbass, that's the street to do it.
Now, I don't want to fully badmouth Courtney Place.
That's what I
There's-
mean. But
my
it's
favorite
good excuses.
restaurant
It's good
in the
excuses.
city
Yeah.
almost is out there.
Yeah.
Pizzeria Napoli.
Oh yeah.
One of the best places in the city.
Yeah.
Absolutely the best pizza in Wellington, I will say, and I will fight you about it. Although there's a lot of tough competition, but Pizzeria Napoli, the Tano or cured tuna pizza is the best pizza in the city, and I'm very passionate about
He'll
it.
fight you.
And the Negroni is the best there.
He'll fight you.
Yeah, I will. Come get me. Come get me. Come at me, guys. Let's talk pizza. That's what I'm a nerd about. I will destroy you. All right, they got a little violent there. I'm sorry, but
He's not sorry. He will fight you.
I don't want
He'll
to.
fight you on the mountains.
Yeah.
He'll fight you on the beaches. He'll fight you on your dreams.
And I'll fight for you. I'll fight for you.
It'll be a really confusing fight.
Yeah, it's gonna be, guys. It's gotten weird, but that's what we came here for. So I think this is it. I think William, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us in the blanket for today, guys. Can't wait till next time, and hopefully not as long of a gap in between shows because. Honestly, someday I hope somebody pays for me to do this and I don't have to go work in a kitchen. Although I love cooking and I love working with you guys, my body cannot keep handling that kind of rigmarole every day.
Give him money.
Yeah, give me money, guys.
I'm great.
I haven't asked anybody yet, but somebody just send me some money for listening to this. Or like a sandwich. Like
No, money. Because you take the sandwich.
Or like a money sandwich in the Batman movie when Jack Nicholson gives the bribe to the cop.
Yeah.
In
money
the
sandwich.
Give me that. Give me white bread with cash in it.
Yeah.
That's the only way I will accept payment is if it's in white bread.
With cash.
So
Without bread.
think about that.
Do it.
Signing off now.
He'll fight you.
Yeah. This is Joey Barini for the Blanket Fort in Wellington, New Zealand on Cuba Street. I'm not going to give you my address, but that's roughly where I live. You guys could definitely find out where I
In
live.
an old department store.
Yeah, in a potentially haunted building from 1904.
So that's those are your hints.
Sign us off, William. You're the pro.
Bye bye.